game shooting blues. George Lawrence tries out a new kind of shot on a young farmer's game day.
Shoot lead while we can, but we know that we need to look at other alternatives.
One man buys and sets up a rifle with tips from the pros on how not to burn it out in the first 6 months.
All you're basically doing is shortening the life of the barrel.
We've got top Christmas tree advice, and David is on the Fieldsports Channel news stump. Welcome to Fieldsports Britain.
Yeah, I've done my food hygiene. My name's Tom Furley for the day. Yeah, I was going to say my name's Tom.
Farmers don't get out much, but when they do, they tend to make the most of it. The same could be said of vicars. However, we're not talking about the dog collar wearing variety. We're talking about vicar's hardness. No tittering at the back, which is a unit used to describe a material's resistance to indentation. More of that in a bit. This young farmer's shoot is near Colchester in Essex and is run by Charlie Morton and his father Mark. Today is their day, and Charlie has invited his agri mates to come and enjoy their pheasant and partridge shoot.
Me and my friend George, we've got the day today. It's the young guns day today on the shoot. We try and basically get all the youngsters involved because it's basically the way the shooting's going to carry on going. It's pretty much everyone here that you can see is friends and family, so yeah, it'll be a nice day.
Okay, quality of shooting we're going to see today?
I don't know, the weather's not exactly brilliant, so we'll see. Hopefully, well, it's cold, so they should be in the covers, but there's not really a lot of wind, so they might get up, they might not. But
what about the guns though? I'm talking about the guns. Are they good shots?
On paper, yeah. They're right on paper, but they should be fine.
Speaking to your dad earlier, obviously massively into his shooting. So when did you start shooting?
I think I got my first gun at about 8 or 9 for a little 410 bolt action, which I've still got actually. And then ever since then, yeah, just been obsessed with it. I used to go out with George all the time as well. We used to go ducks, pigeons, pheasants, partridge. We used to go everywhere doing it, and yeah, just something that you can't really give up. Just love it.
George Lawrence is one of Charlie's mates. We have filmed George a few times now, both farming and shooting.
What's the level of shooting going to be like today then?
Don't know, ask me that at lunchtime. No, we should be alright. We should be alright. I haven't done too much. I'm normally better if I don't do too much. We're shooting a new cartridge today, so that'll be interesting. But yeah, no, we should be average.
Okay.
Let's go for average.
Should be average.
Should be average. We should be alright. Good cameraman will make it good.
Yeah, I will. No worries at all. What have you been doing? Have you just been on the farm? You haven't been doing?
Yeah, on the farm. Sort of hosting as well. So we've got a family shoot at home. So sort of been helping out with that. So I don't actually get to do too much shooting myself. I also run the duck flights as well. So sort of hosting that, having people down for that. So it's nice to actually get behind the gun today and do a bit of shooting myself.
Today he is trying out a new shotgun shell, which brings us back to vicar's hardness. Thanks to Alex Levitt-Scrivener from shotgun cartridge distributor Shooting Star, who will be able to tell us all about it. The first drive is bright with no wind. George knows that Charlie will be feeling the pressure.
Interesting conditions, George.
Yeah, could do the sun to bugger off.
When people say about the sun being a problem, what is that about?
So mainly when the birds are flying into it, they can't see where they're going. So they'll tend to sort of dive down and sort of hug the ground and come through low. Instead of sort of trying to get up, because they're getting up, they're still flying into it, they can't see where they're going. And also you get a nice frosty morning like this, and the sun comes out, the pheasants tend to get on the wander, and yeah, it's just perfect wandering conditions really.
I mean, it's quite flat here, so they're going to have to work their socks up, aren't they?
To be fair, you'd be surprised, because it's flat and they sort of don't really have too much to go to, they tend to get up quite well. A lot of people sort of think, oh, flat ground, they sort of just come through really low. Typical East Anglian birds, you get sort of nice 40, sometimes 50 yarders come through it, sort of perfect. It's nothing like the silly high stuff, but it's not what we're here for.
George gets a couple of shots, including a cheeky magpie. At the end of the drive, Alex talks us through the new RC shells he's brought along for George to try.
This is new for you?
It's new to RC. He's shooting the HPF blues, 30 gram 5s. The blue shot is an angle we're looking to take the non-lead market. It's a shot we've been pioneering for the last 4 or 5 years. Started off with bio ammo, moved on to the jocker cartridges, and have recently brought it into the RC range as well.
So this shot
has been in these shells prior to this one? It's just sort of a movement of
It has. It's now come into RC. We wanted to put it into a main brand. RC have sort of really taken it in their stride to bring it to the market, and it was the want was to bring something that, with lead going in 2029, and for those that may not want to shoot steel, it was offering something else that would be on the market.
Okay, but this is tried and tested already then. So
Yes.
This is not brand new. This is like
No.
almost like components that get shared between the sort of motor industry almost.
More or less. It's made by a company called Azor in Spain, and they make various shots from bismuth, lead, steel, and now with the blue shot.
Okay, so this is something that have you shot yourself as well, Alex?
I have. I committed this year to sort of put lead to one side and have gone for the blues just to see how it works, and I think it works well. It's nearly as soft as lead, and it seems to perform it performs as well as lead.
So give me the units. We heard about this earlier when we were chatting at breakfast. So give me the units, and then we're going to do a demo in a minute.
So lead, if you say, is about 45 Vickers in hardness, steel is 120, and the blue shot is 50.
George was already shooting the blue ammo shot, but in a bio ammo casing. Price-wise, you're looking at about 30% more than lead. At 11s, Alex performs a rough and ready Vickers hardness test.
What we're going to show is the softness of the shot. And there you are.
Let's have a look.
That one there.
To put it in the light.
So it just shows that, yeah, like lead, it does crumple on impact.
Okay. How many Vickers is that again?
50.
50 Vickers.
50 Vickers. Got the 12 bores, got 20s, got 28s as well, and we will have 4 10s and 16 for next year.
Okay, and that's a big jocker.
Some in the jocker and obviously the 12s in RC. I think we're down the road and we need to embrace it and shoot lead while we can, but we know that we need to look at other alternatives.
The best drive is after lunch. George is in the hot spot.
Oh, it's in the sun. Well, it's taken all day, but we got there.
How many do you reckon we got there?
Five or six, I think. Oh, I don't know. I think you helped me on that one. That's what we were looking for though, wasn't it? Look at that.
Good, it's good.
Well, going off that, they've performed bloody well. Now, getting used to the speed of them, yeah.
No, very good. So when you say getting used to the speed of this, what? Just a bit slightly slower?
Yeah, just a bit slower than what I'm used to shooting really. I use the HPF in lead. They're nice, fast, crisp cartridge. And what you get with the non-toxic, they tend to be a little bit slower. So it's just getting used to that sort of slightly slower cartridge. Start of the day, I'm sort of back-ending them, a lot of them. But yeah, starting to get used to them, starting to kill them a bit cleaner and better. So yeah, I think that's the drive we're looking for on that one. Smiles now, can smile.
And as you said, the sun's got in.
And yeah, sun's gone in and they all fly perfectly. So yeah, I should imagine everyone's happy. Yeah, some nice ones over here.
We all stood there and everyone watched.
It's been a tough day for the backstage staff. The shooting is not the main event. This is about young field sports enthusiasts getting together and having a really good time. For more information about Blue Shot, head to shootingstarcc.co.uk. Thanks all who took part in that. And remarkably, we are giving away 4,000 Blue Shot cartridges in our raffle. Here's Alex on why you should buy a ticket at fieldsportscompetitions.co.uk.
So what we've got is your chance to win 4,000 RC HPF Blues. It's a shot we've been pioneering for the last 4 or 5 years. Started off with bio ammo, moved on to the Jocker cartridges, and have recently brought it into the RC range. Go to fieldsportscompetitions.co.uk to find out more.
Thanks, Alex. We have a bumper Christmas raffle which runs until the end of January with a limited number of tickets, as well as the cartridges. It includes a Pard Night Stalker 4K Pro day-night scope, Skeller Up Quattro Sport Wellies, Bushwear Fallow Fleeces and a Tuffy's Nest Bed, plus extra fleece. Tickets start at 39p. Visit fieldsportscompetitions.co.uk. Now, keeping it blue, it's our very own news smurf, David, on the Fieldsports Channel News Stump.
This is Fieldsports Channel News. The Westminster Government has opened applications for enshrinement of sports and activities for their intangible cultural heritage. This is the United Nations UNESCO initiative to get activities with heritage some kind of cultural, if not pure, legal protection. A new Rural Pursuits website, ruralpursuitscommunity.com, shows how you can get your hunt, shoot, angling or other sporting club registered and protected by UNESCO. Link below. Deadline is the 27th of March 2026.
I would like my government to offer me protection for what I do, my way of hunting, my life, and recognise what I do the same as other minority groups.
The government's plans to put shotguns on FACs looks like it'll take place in early 2026. Lobbying is underway, with concerned shooters going to their MP surgeries. If you want to write to your MP, Fieldsports Channel has put a letter for you to use on our website. Link below. This is the moment a police helicopter catches 3 people riding one quad bike across the Essex countryside. Video from a National Police Air Service helicopter nabs the hare-poaching suspects riding across a field near the M11 motorway in October. The chopper tracks a man and 2 teenagers as they decamp from the quad bike and make their way into the welcoming arms of Essex Police.
Yeah, officers, walk away from your vehicles to your left. You've got the 3 coming towards you right now. 3 coming towards you right now.
Hunting increases wildlife populations. That's a conclusion of new research by American scientists. Sport-hunted species are more likely to have stable or increasing populations and less likely to be listed as threatened compared with non-sport hunted species. Researchers analysed use and trade data for terrestrial mammal species worldwide and found that sport hunting is linked with more favourable conservation status of mammal species. The biggest barbel record from British waters has been broken. Reported in the Angling Times, Londoner Simon Baker caught the fish, weighing 22 pounds and 3 ounces, in the River Lee. It's the same specimen that broke the record last year at a weight of exactly 22 pounds. The Maltese Hunting Organisation has won a top award for its cookbook. The Maltese Federation for Hunting and Conservation, or FKNK's publication, Game Recipes from Malta, won the Best Game Meat Book in the World award at the 31st Gourmand World Cookbook Awards, held in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. There were entries from 96 countries. Namibia has lost a bid to overturn the ban on the rhino horn trade. The Convention of International Trade in Endangered Species of Wild Fauna and Flora, CITES, voted down Namibia's proposals to lift the ban on the international trade in black and white rhino horns. Since CITES banned the trade in horns in 1977, poaching has grown out of control, with more than 8,000 animals lost in the last decade. And finally, a Turkish YouTuber has shown the English cricket team how it's done. Hussein Bulut's German short-haired pointer marks and puts up a quail, and he reacts instinctively. Thanks to Greg Hill for the link. You are now up to date with Fieldsports Channel News. Stalking the stories, fishing for facts. Fieldsports Channel members get more. Every week there's Fieldsports Extra, our exclusive show packed with behind-the-scenes clips, interviews and a free prize draw. Plus, membership gives you access to our Fieldsports Advice Bureau for help with shooting and firearms licensing, with our in-house lawyer on your side. And with our insurance, you're covered for £5 million public liability for shooting activities across the UK, as well as legal expenses cover. Join today so we can keep the pressure on and the volume up.
This week's Fieldsports Extra prize draw is for another £100 Purdy hip flask, and if you know someone who might benefit from Fieldsports membership, you can give it to them as a gift. Follow the link below and click the gift box in the checkout area. Now, as it's Christmas, you'll be looking for a tree. Well, to tell you about the good, the bad and the ugly among trees, tuna fisherman Peter Hyde explains all in a piece we filmed for Farming Britain.
Is there any money in it, growing these big trees? Probably not, but they're like my babies. I actually don't want to cut them down anyway. I get really attached to them, especially some beautiful ones. You get stuff like this and it's looking so perfect. Let me show you something else.
Link to that item below. Staying on Christmas, let's watch as one of our Fieldsports members buys himself a little prezi. This journey starts in the English home counties. Fieldsports member John Myhill has got it into his head that he should buy a German Kipplauf rifle. Kipplauf means tilting barrel or break action. In this case, a Blaser K95 to use for deer stalking alongside his bolt actions. It all goes back to a review of Kipplauf rifles that we ran on Fieldsports Channel in 2017.
Fieldsports Channel slightly to blame in as much if you check your back catalogue. Somewhere in the past, Tim Bilbeam was looking at 3 of them, one of which was a K95, and at the time it was an interesting piece and I didn't really think any more about it. But the next time I kind of came across such a thing was at the stalking show this year. Visited the Blaser stand and they had a K95, the thumbhole version, but it was a left-handed one. And it was a really beautiful thing. And the thing that I liked about it particularly was it was feather light, really light, nice and easy, which for me, I've been stalking for a while, but not a long time. Currently I've got a Savage 308, which is an ultralight version, which stalking around is really nice, easy to move around with. But when I saw these, they were just, and so I just kind of look around, and they're not that common, as you say, is it? And I think first came across yours here. I was travelling back from a work thing, and I'd seen on Gun Trader that you had one, and came for a look and was smitten, kind of thing. So
they do that to you.
Yeah.
Smitten is a word Alistair Phillips likes to hear because he runs Purdy's new shop at the Royal Berkshire Shooting School.
So the Blaser K95, this is a wood stock, so we've obviously seen other versions, carbon and things. This is the black edition. We've got a wood grade 6, which is rather beautiful. But there's a few extras to this one. We've got the bullet trap underneath here for 4 rounds. Which doesn't come as standard. We've got the gold bolt and the gold trigger. Gold leaf or gold coating was really something that was associated with rust prevention. So although it's beautiful, it's also got a practical purpose as well. We've got a palm swell, grip cap, and then the 4-piece has an ebony forend which just sets off the action, which I love. So once it's all assembled, everything, it looks absolutely the business. This one actually came with a leather Blaser, obviously, sling. You've got room for 2 rounds on there as well, so you've got 6 rounds with backup.
I'm going to do a little bit of travelling with it, so the fact it breaks down nicely into its own travel case was a bonus. Optics and mod were another consideration. I've not had a Swarovski before.
It'd be a shame to sort of save on the scope on top. Having good quality, good looking glass on top it sets the rifle off.
This is a 2 to 12 by 50, and I don't think I'm going to be taking anything beyond 150 metres particularly. So, and again, I don't think the rifle necessarily is one for those long shots. That's not what I was intended to do anyway. So the scope just kind of felt the right level of magnification and hopefully the decent optics in terms of first and last light will do the business.
John walks out of the shop with his purchase. The next stop is to zero it. He takes it to Chris Lewis at his local gun shop, Rifleman Firearms in Somerset, which has its own well-appointed range.
Actually, only the second break barrel rifle I've done. A bit more of an expensive scope on this one as well. So first of all, I mean, Billy basics. We get the gun, we check all the components before we put them together, make sure everything's tight. Once we've done that, with a brake barrel you can do it one or two ways. So you can just assemble the scope onto the barrel, then rest it onto bags. And I actually found with this one, because it's quite a thin forend and it didn't sit on the bags nice and perpendicular, then we did it with the stock on, and it broke and then the stock hanging over the bench. So we're going to bore sight it down at roughly 25 yards. Make sure we've got a coincidence between what we can see down the barrel and what we can see through the scope. May need some adjustment. Generally they're all right for line, but a lot of the times it's the elevation correction. And we do find sometimes you might run out of adjustment at 25 yards. So that's why when we fire it then, the proof shot if you like, and it's measurable. 9 inches. So 9 inches, 25 yards, it would be, like normally at 100 yards it'd be 9 inches worth of clicks. So whatever that is times 4. My maths is not very good. So basically you times it by 4 at 25 yards.
When we bore sighted it in, its left and right was pretty much spot on straight away, and it was super accurate. Probably more accurate than I am, because I work on a good hunting group and a dead deer rather than putting lots of holes in bits of paper at long distance. Probably not me.
We can then go straight down to 100 yards and then refine the 0. So you know yourself, bullets have an arc. Whatever calibre it is, it's still going to have an arc. So what we're trying to do is get clearly coincidence between gun, scope and target at 100 yards. So all the refinement, the couple of clicks left and right happens at 100 yards as opposed to right back in the range. But we're doing the fundamentals at 25 and 50, so we're not damaging any equipment pretty much.
While you do this with a new gun, you are breaking in the barrel. Some manufacturers give you a guide on how to do that, listing actions you need to take between shots, such as cleaning the barrel. Chris has an interesting theory about those guides.
With a brand new barrel, you do need to run them in, but not quite the way the manufacturer's saying. I think it's a bit of a placebo when barrel manufacturers put their actual break-in process. Now, I may be wrong, but from the experience I've certainly had here, is if you don't get the barrel too hot, you're not going to damage the barrel. So they have that process, knowing that process is going to take some time between the shots. Therefore, the barrel's not going to get too hot. If you don't get that barrel too hot and basically take your time, there's no requirement to clean between each round, because you're forcing something down a barrel at a high speed. But generally with lead, certainly, lead's malleable enough to make its way down there anyway without causing any damage.
That said, Chris is wary of allowing barrels to overheat because of the issue of fire cracking inside the barrel. That's when the inside of the barrel starts to look like this, an image posted on the Long Range Hunting Forum.
What you can see, and what we've seen with a few guns in the past, depending on calibre as well, is when we bore scope these things, because we bore scope everything that comes in, if we've got a problem gun or something like that, you can start getting excess fire cracking at the beginning, so at the chamber end. And then if it's really bad, that will continue all the way up the barrel. So all you're basically doing is shortening the life of the barrel. We've had one instance of one gun that only lasted a person 9 months, I think was the most he got out of it, before it started losing a massive amount of accuracy, because the rate of fire he was using was far too high for the barrel type he had. A Target 6.5 Creedmoor, for instance, if you're using that for PRS, it's a thick barrel. The barrel life is around the 1500 round mark. Whereas if you use a hunting rifle in the same calibre with a skinny barrel, and you keep your rounds down, you're going to be giving that to your grandchildren.
That was it.
Slightly down and slightly right on the bull.
By the end of the zeroing session, both Chris and John are happy with the results from the K95 and Swarovski combo. They have put plenty of time between shots, so no fire cracking to report.
We grouped really nicely. You could say probably a cloverleaf. That very last picture, there were two that were, that were nudging each other, and I just thought I'll put it another click to the left. So the third one might be slightly to the left, but that's by design, let's say.
Now it's time to try it out for real. We head to a Somerset farm where John and a friend do the deer management. It's good ground for roes, and roe does are in season. John delicately lifts his new rifle out of the vehicle and we jump on the quad bike to visit the far end of his ground.
Hopefully we're going to find ourselves a nice roe doe somewhere in the vicinity. It's pretty much exclusively roe, we don't see much else around here. I'm not a medal hunter, I tend to just shoot for recreational pleasure, and two, to get a little bit of venison out of it, and burgers and sausages at the end of the day.
It is not long before we come across a group of roe walking behind a hedge 100 yards in front of us. This is going to be easy.
So we crossed over the river and moved down towards this field to our right, and through the hedge with thermal binos we saw what we thought were two initially. Turned out it was three. So we stalked across. The aim was to try and come out of this gate and hopefully then catch them with a clear shot, and it wouldn't have been too far, which for the first time with the rifle would have been a nice and comfortable sort of distance. However, as we were coming towards the gate, I mean, we had no other option but to close the distance. They sussed us, and that was that. I hoped we'd get a second chance. They ran across the field here and went through this hedge behind us, and I was kind of hoping that as we come along we might have picked them up again just the other side of the hedge, but no, they're long gone.
They don't run far. John is soon lining up on one of them. The problem for John is that he is an occasional stalker, and until the deer stands, he cannot tell if it is a buck or a doe. He decides to stalk around and see if he can get a different angle on it. And guess what? We bump it, and it's two family members. They are our original three. Of course they stop, with a house directly behind them, so no shot here. We are beginning to get a sense that this is not this roe doe's first rodeo.
Right, so we just tried a second approach on the three that we bumped earlier, and we managed to bump them again. However, you could say on the plus side, I think we've identified that it was a doe and two followers. So we know which one's the doe, but they've gone back to the original field now. However, the next field to our right let's have a look. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 standing, 1 sitting. Too far away to take a shot, but what I'm going to try and do is have a look and see if we can ID who's who before we try and get closer.
That stalk comes to nothing, so John decides to concentrate on our original doe. He can stalk on the next door farm and he wants to follow it and its followers there, so it's back on his quad bike. A big open drain separates the two pieces of land. Deer can hop it, but we must go round on the roads. On the way we spot more animals, but nothing we can get onto. Once there, John's nemesis, the doe and two followers, are waiting in a hedge looking wary. Now, what are they worried about? Ramblers off the footpath. The walkers have spotted us, the doe has spotted the walkers, and leads her group away. It looks like our trespassers know they have made a mistake and they beat a retreat too. The doe is heading back to where we first found her, so John says to go that way too. On the way back to the quad bike, he says what stalking with the Kiplauf rifle is like. Are you enjoying that rifle?
Yes. It'd be nice to actually christen it, but it's not for the want of seeing deer, is it?
What will it do to your deer stalking style, do you think?
I think it'd make it a bit more considered, in as much as you've got one shot, so it's make it count. So perhaps, I mean, today I don't think we've had what I would call a real good opportunity. We've seen plenty and we've got fairly close, but again I'm perhaps being a little more cautious just because new rifle, we're doing what we're doing, and you want to make sure it's a clean, good kill first time.
Back on the first farm, and we are in the right place when the first of the two followers comes through the hedge. And the second one. It's as if the doe knew we would be there. Yep, here she comes, like the 450 from Paddington. She even describes a circle around us, barking as she goes, as if to point us out to her young. John, you are not going to get this one.
We spent the afternoon following around a doe and her two followers, and we started on a couple of fields that way. She's an exceedingly experienced girl. She knows what she's about, and she wasn't going to let us get anywhere near her. On the previous field where we tried to make an approach, she was in the hedge. Her two followers were completely oblivious, but she wasn't. She was stood there eyeing us completely. She moved this way with the two youngsters, so we've switched farms, come back round to try and approach from this side. Where we are just behind the camera is a hedge line, and we saw them in the thermal in the field to my right, three of them, and they were grazing, so we assumed it was the three. So we walked down the hedge line on the left here. The first one came through, and it was one of the young bucks. It saw us, it was looking at us, it walked towards us a few steps, but they weren't too bothered. They carried on to the left. The second one came out, and again it was the second of the young bucks. And again there was another shot there, safe, only about 60 metres, so it would have been all fine if it wasn't a buck. I could see through the thermal, through the hedge, the third one slowly making her way through. We assumed it was her. And sure enough, she came through just as I took the safety off. She barked, ran to our left and stopped again. Again, nice shootable distance, but in the overshoot, there was a herd of cows. It's almost as if she knew they were there. Then she circled back round us. Every time you reposition, about to take a shot, she moved again, and that was that barking alarm, and off she went into the fading light.
All right, no doe. What about the rifle?
Well, part of the reason I bought this is I'd love to go on safari, and whether I will or I won't, I don't know, but I've got a thing about double rifles, and for me it was almost kind of doing the safari at home in the UK. So I like a light stalking rifle, which this certainly is, and the break barrel I suppose is kind of evocative of that, of the double rifle type thing. So that's kind of why, I guess.
There you are, a man can dream. And maybe this is a rifle for people who don't just think about or imagine, they dream of great stalks, of great hunts. Thanks to Purdy and to Rifleman Firearms. There are links to both shops below. Thanks, John, for taking me on that journey. And that's it for this week. If you haven't done so already, please visit our website, fieldsportschannel.tv. You can click to like us there on Facebook and on Instagram. You can follow us on X and TikTok. You can subscribe to us on YouTube or pop your email address into our weekly newsletter box, and we'll contact you about this show. Fieldsports Britain is at 7 PM UK time every Wednesday. And this has been Fieldsports Britain. Good hunting, good shooting, good fishing, and goodbye.